What uppers?
As a singular noun doesn't make any sense to me at all anymore. What model do you use? I like the sociological term glass and grid, which some sociologists use. Krzyzewski called it your system of abstractions, which means a lot if you know the mathematical school he was working from, but doesn't mean much to most readers. Really coined the magnificent term reality tunnel. I call it a neurological reality tunnel. Everybody has their own neurological reality tunnel, which is why we misunderstand one another so often and why we misjudge one another so profoundly.
Can you describe what a reality tunnel is?
We receive, I think, more than 1 billion signals every minute from the environment. Most of them we're not even conscious of receiving. They affect our legs, our arms, our eyes, our ears, our nose, our chest. All this information is pouring in, and the nervous system is making evaluations at different levels, working its way up. One of the classic models is that we got 3 brains, the reptile brain, the mammal brain, and the human brain. I've heard that for so long. I don't know how far back that goes. I knew that when I was in my 20s, which means back in the early 1950s. If we tried to be conscious of all the signals, we couldn't do it. Because to be conscious of that many signals simultaneously means we only perceive chaos, which is the usual first reaction to LSD. Things turn into chaos, then they turn into different kinds of patterns. The chaos is because we can't handle that much information and organize it rapidly. So we throw out all the information that seems unimportant, which means we also throw out all the information that seems threatening to our belief system or to our dogma or to our ideology. We throw out everything we think can be ignored safely, so we concentrate on the things that seem important. Then our brain constructs a model out of all the information coming up from the rest of the nervous system, and we project the model outward and consider it reality. It's not reality, it's our reality tunnel. Everybody else in the same room is constructing a different reality tunnel. About 40 years now, I've been teaching workshops and seminars, first on general semantics, then on neurolinguistic programming and various other things. But I've done this experiment hundreds of times where I get the whole audience to describe the hall outside the seminar room. I never have had a case yet in hundreds of experiments where 2 people describe the hall exactly the same. The differences are sometimes astonishing. We all perceive a different world because our brains are organizing it according to patterns the brain has created to organize. And those patterns seem to be created at this date, it appeared.
Man, listen. I know he sounded a little sleepy. I know he sounded a little tipsy. But that's one of my favorite authors, Robert Anton Wilson. And his works are just amazing. I love, in particular, I love the book Quantum Psychology. I love Prometheus Rising. Like, he has some very powerful books. And what are his books designed to do? They are designed to get you outside of your known. If you know anything about the Voice of Reason here on KBLA Talk 1580 from the heart of Leimert Park, you know the Voice of Reason curates conversations that are designed to get you out of your norm. Why is that important? How else are you going to grow? Many people want to stay right in that little box. Why is it that men and women speak two different languages, according to Dr. John Gray? Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. Why is it that we seem to misunderstand each other? Do we know the difference between, this is going to get deep, are y'all ready? Perception? Eesh. What is perception? Right? Is perception about you? And is perspective about gaining bits and pieces of other people's perception so that you may have perspective? I don't know. But what I do know is many people are wearing a mask. If we're using the Jungian angle here, Carl Jung's work talks about the mask, of course, which is the persona, and the real you is behind the mask, right? So if that is the case, you are dealing with a person, or people are dealing with each other. They're wearing a mask, so the relationship is between the two masks. And they're trying to hold back what's behind the mask, which is chaos, the shadow of a person. And you gonna tell me who I am? How many times a woman told you, see, I knows you. I knows all about you. Wait a minute. I don't even know me. How do you know me? Tonight's topic, perspectivity. I said what I said. We live in a society where people are talking about my truth. Can you have a truth if you haven't started the individuation process? If you go to a clinician that's worth their salt, right? They're gonna listen to you. They're gonna take notes. They're gonna walk you through your process. But ultimately, you got to do some work that leads to individuation. Right? That's the clinical psychological term, individuation. Carl Jung came up with this. What does it mean? Merging the mask and the shadow together. That's what it means. That's how one becomes a whole person. They get on the process of individuation. Can you have a clear perception of your partner if you have yet to do that? Perspectivity. I said what I said. Agree or disagree? A fragment of the whole truth isn't the truth at all. Or is it? I want to know. Do you really know yourself? And if the answer is yes, how can you possibly know your partner? 1-800-920-1580. Get to your phone lines. Now, this is going to sound like it's off topic, but it's not. I'll leave that for my callers. But let me say this. In anthropology, in the study of anthropology, which is quite possibly one of the most racist fields in the world. I'm sorry, anthropologists. I don't mean to disrespect you. I love the new anthropology. But the old anthropology? My goodness. Many old anthropologists were on the same side as the people, the colonial powers, right? Can we be honest? They're on the same side as the colonial powers. And they had to grow out of that. There were some black anthropologists that came along, some sisters that was like, nah, this is not cool. You had white folks going into other cultures, being very disrespectful of the culture because they were coming from, the term is ethnocentrism. They were coming from an egocentrism, right? Our culture is better. You guys are primitive. And this justified racism. This justified colonialism, imperialism. They had anthropologists on board for that, right? The anthropologists gave them the justification to subjugate the world, right? Until they created something called, right? Are you ready for this? Cultural relativism. And cultural relativism said, hey, when we go into a culture, we can't look at ourselves as better than the people we're observing. We have to go in from an objective space and even in an appreciative space to understand that these people have their ways and their ways aren't our ways aren't better than theirs. We have to go in objectively to be able to observe without judgment. Isn't it funny that you got all type of relationship coaches and psychologists saying, don't judge yourself. You have to observe yourself without judging. So I said to myself, if anthropology came with cultural relativism, where I have to respect the culture that I'm observing, that I'm studying, what about intimate relational relativism, IRR? Can my partner be respectful, right, of where I came from, who raised me, how I was raised? What if I was mishandled? Should that be respected as well? What is the definition for intimate relational relativism? A conscious practice of perceiving a partner within the context of their own history, culture, nervous system, and lived experiences, rather than judging them through the moral, familial, your family, or psychological standards of the observer's upbringing. I'm not going to judge you from where I came from. How many times you've seen people in relationships arguing, I would have did something different. See, that's not how I would have handled it. I would have handled it. That you're lacking IRR. Intimate relational relativism. Right? I'm going to look at you without the filter of what made me. Now, anthropologists had to learn how to do it. They couldn't go into Papua New Guinea and judge those people because they had a cannibalistic practice. Right? Initially they would, right? Like, oh my God, they're eating each other. What is going on? Until they understood the practice. Oh, it's ancestral worship. Oh. So when the ancestor dies, this is part of their culture. They eat them to embody them because they were great. They had to change it. They couldn't go in there and go, what kind of crazy, y'all eating each other? Cultural relativism. But what if we use the same principle for intimate relationships? It was anthropologists who discovered, oh, you guys can't eat each other though. We respect the culture, but you can't eat each other. Why? Because there's a disease that comes from eating each other, and this is why you guys are dying. So we respect the practice, But if you want to stop dying, do you see? But that couldn't have been discovered unless there was objectivity. Do you see what I'm saying? Initially, there was no objectivity. You had white men say, you know what? Let's just study all the skulls. You do know that after our research, we have ascertained that the Caucasians are the most beautiful, the prettiest, the smartest, the most intelligent. That's because they were coming from this racist kind of perspective. Not kind of, it was outright racist. But even anthropology had to grow up. So what if you took the cues from anthropology and learned this IRR, intimate relational relativism, a conscious practice of perceiving a partner within the context of their own history, culture, nervous system, and lived experiences, rather than judging them through the moral, familial, or psychological standards of your upbringing. Would that lessen the amount of confusion? When we come forward, the voice of reason gonna keep the flames.
Talk. This is where you get the unfiltered truth about love, relationships, and everything in between. He breaks down relationship dynamics with no-nonsense wisdom and practical advice that actually works.
Is this making sense?
And giving you the answers you need to hear. You're inside the voice of reason with Phil Williams on KBLA Talk.
Are we making sense?
KBLA Talk 50.
Hey, you already know what you got to do, right? Y'all got to hit the like button. Y'all got to hit that like button. Perspective or perception? Two different things. I'm asking you, Attila. Everybody hit the like button. 38 people, 24 likes. Everybody like it, and get on the phone lines. We want to talk. It's interesting. I can see where this is going. Very intriguing. That's what we own. Everybody hit that like button. Hit that like button. Show your love, show your love, show your love. I'm going to the phone calls. I want to talk to people. This is a discussion. This is a conversation. This is not just Zoe talking. Y'all got to talk with me. Hey, my cousin Craig is in here talking about my uncle. Uncle Ben watching. Hey, man, what you got Uncle Ben in here watching for, man? Why Uncle Ben up in here, dog? Ben ain't supposed to be on the internet. What we doing? They might be gone now. Hey, who hid Craig Williams? Y'all can't hide Craig. That's my cousin. Don't do that. What up, Big C? What up, Big C? They said, who is this man in here talking? Hey, Craig, my chat room don't be bullshit. They ain't never seen you in here. They said, hold on. Whoever that is, we got block. It's all good, man. It's all good. The comment looked odd. My bad. Introduce yourself. What up, Kai? Oh shit. Let's do this. But in terms of the framing of what we got going on tonight. This makes sense, right? Showing my cousin support. Big C.
Have you ever completely misread someone's reaction? Maybe you thought they were angry, only to find out they were just stressed. Or what you took for rudeness really just turned out to be exhaustion. It happens to all of us, but here's the thing. Getting better at seeing through another person's eyes doesn't just help you get along better, it actually changes your brain in ways that makes you more resilient. I'm Dr. Tracy Marks, a psychiatrist, and I make mental health education videos to help you strengthen your mind, fortify your brain, and build resilience. This is the last video in our social connection and resilience model, and today we're looking at how empathy, really understanding others, creates a feedback loop between healthy relationships and a more adaptable, stress-resistant brain. When most people think of empathy, they picture being warm and caring, but neuroscience shows us that it's much more than that. It's a complex set of brain skills. There are two main types. Cognitive empathy, which is the head side, understanding what someone else might be thinking or feeling without necessarily feeling it yourself. That's perspective taking, and it uses your prefrontal cortex, the same region that you use for planning, problem solving, and regulating emotions. You're essentially running a mental stimulation. If I were them, how would I feel? Emotional empathy is the heart side, actually feeling some of what they feel. If you tear up when someone cries, or your stomach knots when you see someone get hurt, that's your mirror neuron system and limbic network responding. And those are the same networks that process your own physical sensations and emotional states. In daily life, these two systems often overlap. For example, if a coworker's tone is sharp, cognitive empathy helps you consider they might be under a deadline pressure. Emotional empathy lets you sense they've got tension under stress. The most resilient people, those who maintain strong relationships while protecting their own mental health, have developed both types of empathy in a balanced way. They can understand others deeply without being overwhelmed by every emotion around them. Here's why perspective taking builds resilience. Perspective taking is part of what scientists call theory of mind, the ability to recognize that other people's inner world is different from yours. Using it regularly strengthens the very networks in your prefrontal cortex that help you stay calm under pressure, think flexibly, and regulate your reactions. Think of a parent diffusing a toddler's meltdown in a grocery store. Instead of yelling back, they pause, think, he's tired, overstimulated, and probably hungry. That mental shift keeps the parent from reacting purely on impulse.
Hey, man, I don't know if you know, but Dr. Tracy, Andy, is Dr. Tracy a superstar or no? We got to give her flowers, man. Dr. Tracy be cooking. And what I really love about her breakdown, right? The empathy piece, how empathy is dual-sided. We have cognitive empathy, and then we have emotional empathy. She said the emotional empathy is heart-centered, and the cognitive empathy is brain or mind-centered. Now, what's interesting about that, you often hear us talk about narcissism, and that narcissists may not be fully connected to the heart empathy, but they've mastered the cognitive empathy to kind of figure out as a puzzle of observation to see, oh, they're going through something. Let me see if I can behave in a certain way to extrapolate whatever supply I might need from them. So that is the cognitive side. But here's the deep point here. We just go into relationships all willy-nilly with no idea about any of the things we're talking about tonight. I just came up with something. IRR. Intimate Relational Relativism. I pulled it right out of a very respected field of academia, anthropology. Anthropology is broken into 4 pieces. When you put all 4 pieces together, you get applied anthropology. But when you go back into the history of anthropology, you start to realize that it was built on a foundation of lies and racism. But in order for it to mature and grow up, it had to develop something. Objectivity. Without judgment. What if we could do that in relationships? What if we could understand ourselves and our partners without the field of experience that we've been through? When we come forward, the voice of reason will be going to the phone lines. Let's get it! Dude, I didn't know, but it checks out for sure. Does this all make sense? Am I making sense tonight? Diamond Blue, I don't like my girl at Zoe. What does that mean? Miss you on the 5150. Keep doing your thing, King. Respect, respect, respect. I am her? Wow. What do we... Okay. I'm confused. We got 2 callers on the line. I'm going to get to them as soon as we get to the other side. Y'all want to call in, call in, call in, call in. I got 2 more lines. Who wants to call in and talk? She's not good for you? How do you know? Start with answering this question. In what ways are you not good to yourself? That will explain why she's in your life. Did you hear what I just said? I know people don't want to hear it put that way. But if I sit down, Diamond Blue, and I say, how do you co-create a situation you now loathe? See, it's easy to say they did it. It's easy to blame over claim. I'm asking you to claim your part of the scaffolding that holds up this damn relationship. You should call in and get this ass whooping. You should call in and get this work. Get these hands. Pop, pop, pop. See, cause that's what it is. If I sit down and get you to answer these questions, right? You're gonna tell me how you built this mess. That's the part you don't want to do. You want to say she the problem and I need to get up out of here. I'm going to say you fed the problem. Did you feed the problem? Oh, your finger's tied now, huh? Huh? Can't, when I ain't talking to you, you type fast than a motherfucker. Your finger's tied than a motherfucker now, huh? Where them fingers? Did you feed the problem? Diamond, you should call in and get this work. You Canelo right now. I'm Floyd Mayweather. I want a rematch. Come on. Yeah, where the clickety clacky at? Where the clickety clackies? Thank you, love. Thank you for coming in here. Used to watch you on the 5150 show, man. I be here every day, man. I'm in terrestrial radio. I'm at 1580, bro. KBLA. Come on, man. You gonna get in here? That's what I thought. You fed the monster. Now you mad you got a grown-ass monster. You got a full-grown monster? What do monsters eat? She came in full-grown. Go pet the monster. Make friends. You know, I'm sick of this. You sick of the house you built? Y'all know I be cutting up, man. Hey, but y'all lagging on the likes. It's 44 people in here. We got 35 likes. Can I get y'all to like it? If you're not gonna call in, can I get you to like it? We got the #1 show on KBLA. We get the most callers. But I be asking y'all the most. Sick of your own mess. I feel you. Stay strong, fam. Hey, who's a fan of the Avatar cartoon, The Last Airbender? Who's a fan of that? Are there any fans of that cartoon series? I became a fan of it because I had 3 young children when it came out. There's a scene in there that I want y'all to check.
Women are valuing themselves in the same way they value or evaluate men's value. If a situation occurs where a woman is not educated, she didn't go to college, and she meets this very successful man, and he actually falls for her, she questions, why me? Because to her, I don't have the value that can get this kind of man. But what she doesn't understand is the value he sees in you isn't attached to those things. It's your feminine energy. It's his attractiveness to you. It's how you make him feel. It's all those other things.
Who was that? Stefan? Okay. See, my niece does this to me on purpose. She does. She will send me video clips. Oh my goodness. What was it? Listen, it's fine. The voice of reason. I'm engaging in a deep conversation right now. And I'm talking about intimate relational relativism. You're not going to be able to look it up. I made this thing up. I extrapolated it from cultural relativism, from the study of anthropology. That was Stephen Speaks, who was just speaking. And we're talking about how we seem to not understand who our partners are. I would say a great deal of that misunderstanding comes from a lack of self-awareness. We seem to not really know who we are. And if there's aspects of ourselves that we loathe, we push it down, we hide it. You know, we hide behind this mask. This is how I want to be perceived. This is how I want people to see me. But I believe relationships could be even better, right? If we got over that hump. How do you get over that hump? The first thing you got to do, self-awareness, cultivate it. You can't be self-aware until you're operating in this space of self-acceptance. You got to accept what you see. And then once you see it and you're aware of it and you know what it is, now you're using that heart-centered empathy in order to understand why it exists. You know, why can't I emotionally regulate? Why am I argumentative? Why am I disrespectful? Why do I have anger issues? You start to understand your process. Oh, this came from there. And this is why I'm here. Oh, and this is how I might show up in a relationship if I'm triggered. Self-awareness, self-acceptance. Now, your perspective begins to broaden. What are the core principles of IRR, intimate relational relativism? Well, number one, context over comparison. Just as cultural relativism asks an anthropologist to suspend ethnocentrism, IRR asks a lover to suspend egocentrism. Oh, Lord. Are y'all ready? Your partner's behaviors, attachment patterns, and even love language must be understood against the backdrop of their developmental ecology, not your inherited rule book. How many times you dated somebody who thought they were spiritually better than you, and the only way the relationship could move forward if y'all were to get on the same page religiously? I just seen a friend of mine break up a 10-year relationship because not religiously aligned. And I get it. That's a thing. But are you dating an idea, a concept, or a real human being? Do you know it's easier to be in a relationship with a concept than it is to be in a relationship with a human? Okay, this is where I go. Linguistic humility. These are the core tenets of IRR, intimate relational relativism. Linguistic humility. Alfred Korzybski, you knew I was going to bring him up. His insights that the map is not the territory applies to romance. Labels like commitment, respect, or love carry different semantic weight across families, faiths, and cultures. IRR invites a constant interrogation of shared vocabulary. Does that make sense? Okay, here we go. Nervous system awareness. Because most people will choose a corny, regular, average, whatever kind of guy or girl because they're compatible with their nervous system. Not with their heart. Not even with their purpose. Oh, Lord, I done got into some. Trauma theory reminds us that many personality traits are adaptive responses. IRR, intimate relational relativism, treats a partner's regulation strategies, right? Avoidance, Hypervigilance, shut down as data, not moral failings. Do you see? Does this make sense? What about ethical empathy? Right? Ethical empathy without moral relativism. As in cultural relativism, understanding context does not require approving harmful actions. In IRR, it differentiates explanation from excuses. How many times you've been in a relationship with somebody and you're giving them the explanation for why a thing is or why it happened, and they said, I don't want no excuses. I said what I said. I don't want no excuses. How many times you've been earnest and open, pouring your heart out, trying to make it make sense? Let me tell you what happened. I ain't listening to this. What? Ethical empathy without moral relativism. What kind of mess you talking? Did you do it or not? An explanation is not the same thing as an excuse. And many times, that is a point of contention in our relationships. Again, as in cultural relativism, understanding context does not require approving harmful actions. IRR differentiates explanation from excuse. You can honor someone's backstory while still setting firm boundaries. And I was just talking to the brother in the chat right now about this right here. Number 5, dynamic co-creation. This right here should help you to stop blaming your partner for ruining the relationship. Y'all ruined it. You started ruining the relationship the moment. Do you want to hear this? The moment you started stuffing your shadow down. The moment you started suppressing your shadow. You didn't even know it was unconscious to you. But your relationships moving forward as an adult were going to be messed up. Because you stuffed down a part of your truth. Your shadow is part of your truth. You can't stand on the truth if you can't stand with your shadow. Ooh, somebody meme it. Somebody put that on Instagram right now. I don't know who I'm talking to. Dynamic co-creation. The relationship itself becomes a micro-culture where both parties negotiate new norms. Intimate relational relativism frames this negotiation as an ongoing ethnography, right? Each partner studying, adapting, and revising shared practices in real time. Does that make sense? We don't understand each other because we don't understand ourselves. I'm tired of the blame game. Yeah, you're anxious, preoccupied. You're attracted and avoidant. The avoidant is there to expose what you need to work on. That's all it is. Okay, I promise. This time, when I come forward, I'm going to Mountain View, Hawaii. Let's get it. Y'all like my new term? IRR? Y'all like my new term? IRR? Where'd he go? Cool. Hey, who's calling in tonight? We got one caller. Hey, John, if you're in there, I'm coming to you. What's professional at AF? What happened? I know what I did to feed the mess though. Okay. All right, y'all. 49 minutes in. Nobody's calling. Intimate, relational. Professional for these fools. Do you think this is a little too highbrow? Marrying anthropology and relationships? Do you think this is too much? Is this a little too highbrow? I thought it was, for this audience, I thought it was right on par.
I gotta ask you, when you was going into like them early fights, right? When you first started coming up, you walk into the ring. What is that like? Like you felt, did you feel like part of you nervous, like tense, but the other part like you gonna kill somebody?
No, I'm not nervous. I'm scared. I'm scared.
Yeah.
Because I'm a scary guy. Because I've been picked on in my life. I've been abused all my life. People did anything they wanted to me. So I have natural fear of not being safe.
Yeah.
That's who I am naturally. It's in my life. That's who I am. So now I got it with this weird self-confidence and violence and stuff. So now I'm sadistic. Because I'm afraid I'm going to get hurt.
Yes.
Animal now.
Was that Mike? Mike Tyson. Eminem and Mike Tyson. Imagine not knowing. And what I love about Mike is he's exceedingly transparent. You know, he's gotten to a point where he will say what it is, right? You remember that interview he did when they were talking about his baby who passed away, and he told the guy, "Hey, I think it's time for you to leave." And you could sense the energy, the tension, everything. And that guy took that microphone off and got up out of there. But Mike has always been, well, he's learned to be that way even more in terms of his transparency. And I love him for that. But imagine being in a relationship with someone who conceals that, but they don't conceal their expectations for you, right? Their expectations of you, right? They have a perspective of you, you have a perspective of them, but you may not know all of this energy and heat behind, whatever performance they put in front of you. This is why it's hard to know a person if one is not in direct contact with the knowledge of self. We have callers on the line who want to talk about it as well. John from Mountain View, Hawaii. What are your thoughts on tonight's topic?
Greetings and blessings, Chad. Greetings and blessings to all within the sound of my voice. Greetings and blessings to Andy as well as you, Zoe. Thank you for this evening's subject to expound upon. Mm-hmm. And I also like the fact that even in the midst of the show, you're asking questions about the show.
Yes. Yes. Yes, you know I do. John, come on, man.
Of course, I get it. I understand. And even on the point of, is this relevant? Is this too deep? And you left it alone. And I love that.
John, you should wait. Hold on, John. Hold on. You're going to bring the behind the scenes to the radio again.
What behind the scenes, sir? I'm just saying. Ask the question.
Boy, I tell you, John.
This is so beautiful. Okay, let me break down.
We got a whole behind the scenes. We got a whole behind the scenes system.
In the room. Let's break down the ignorant in the room and get them up to speed, shall we?
Yes, go ahead.
Find balance, ladies and gentlemen. Find your balance. If at the point that you have to find your balance in your individualization, because again, there's a female side of you and a male side of every human being that's been born. Let's start there. Since you haven't gotten that right yet, and you're telling the human being outside of you who happens to be the opposite of you to tell them that they're wrong on their viewpoint of what they got going on. Did you say that same thing to yourself?
Come on.
Where's the we in this relationship? And that's the we. You should have had that established in you, male and female side.
Man, if you hear more yous than us, talk to me, John.
I'm not going towards the pointing of the fingers because, again, I was taught in the military, use my whole hand.
Use your whole hand.
When I'm trying to direct something towards you, when I'm trying to tell you what's wrong with this situation, and you don't hear me, the whole hand is pointed in your direction.
And I think you just brought up something even bigger or as important. Let me just say, maybe I got it wrong. Maybe my perspective is off. But I think it's equally important for that flawed perspective to have space to be heard. And I think sometimes we even struggle, right, with the space to even hear, because what did Robert Anton Wilson say in the first clip? In the first clip, he says, well, if I hear something that I don't agree with, I disconnect.
Booyah. And that's the point that I was trying to get to.
That's what
the whole point is this is a game of double dutch. Are you ready to play? The whole point of life is this simple, complexity of all things. And yet we're trying to make all of this complex stuff very simple. And it can be.
Well, no.
Your understanding.
Well, you know what makes it complex? You know what makes it complex, John. You know what?
Me standing on my square telling you about your business.
No,
Again, I should be looking inward and telling me about my own. My bad. We need to get this right.
Wait, hold on, John. I think it's the words that make it complex. Many times we don't have the words, right? Many times when we do have the words, you're talking to an unwilling ear who doesn't want to listen.
That's true.
Do you see?
But again, you're yelling and giving them more of what they don't want has got you where?
Ooh, keep going. Keep going.
Help me. Help me. Help you. Help me. How about that?
Mm.
There's supposed to be a we in this.
John, all
So
I can
again,
say.
back to me pointing with my whole hand.
John, all I gotta say, man, is.
Unfortunately, I'm excited. I'm yelling because I'm excited. This show has got me on fire. And wow.
I love it.
I thank you.
No.
I thank you for allowing these things to take place, because not only does the words and the misunderstandings of understandings, or the understandings of misunderstandings, whichever one gets you to the point of balance.
Hey, John, you know I gotta ask you, man. Guess what you just did, man?
Mountain View's in here for it, man.
Mountain View! Hey, Hawaii is on the board. You want to bring your city in the building? All you got to do is call me at 1-800-920-1580. When we come forward, we going to Texas. Let's get it. I love that, John. I love that. All right. Who else is calling? Well, I hope it's popping. Diamond Blue. You gonna call or no? Diamond Blue, you gonna show up? It's real conversations that push the show, man. He keeps saying yes, sir. Call in, sir.
I am part of the resistance. Let's fight the power. Our freedom of speech is freedom of death. We got to fight the powers that be.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
I'm Zoe Williams, the voice of reason. If your relationship is in trouble, I'm the dude to call. Has your soulmate become your cellmate? Does black love still exist? What are your bedroom turnoffs? Fantasies and fetishes. Financial infidelity. I'm dating a bad person. Are they worth the wait? Trust me, it's gonna be crazy.
How about the heavy stuff? The child wasn't his, and he still had to pay child support.
It's a very heated topic.
How is that right?
Mama's baby, daddy's maybe.
I just have so many questions I want to ask you.
I was like, is there something wrong with that?
Damn.
He told me he had a vasectomy. I'm pregnant.
Betrayal has been committed.
Hit you with the bad pipes routine.
How does he maintain his humposity?
He likes it when it pinches my nips.
Why can't you open up, brother?
I'm a karate man. Karate man rules on the inside. They don't show their weaknesses.
Yeah.
How do you write women so well?
So Williams,
Reason and accountability.
the voice of reason.
It's a simple framework about perspective versus perception. And we may have mentioned this actually in our previous conversation, Stephen. Perception is what you believe to be true about the world around you. Perspective is what other people believe to be true about the world around them. So as I sit here looking at you, this is my perception. My perception is that I'm sitting in the center seat, you're sitting outside of me, and everything else is built around me at the center. Well, guess what your perception is? The same thing. I'm across the table from you, you're at the center, and everything in this room is built around you. So our perceptions are never going to be the same. So the only way that I can find common ground with you is to stop thinking about what's happening around me from my perception and start thinking from your perspective. Because then I get my perception plus your perception combined. I get twice as much information to think through this specific situation.
Can you train them? Can you train someone to have both points of view?
Absolutely. So here's how I mentioned that awareness is the first step, right? Really, we have a 3-step process at CIA that we use when we teach spy skills to future spies, because that's all CIA is. CIA is a giant training engine that's constantly creating new spies. And then spies just go out and spy. But what CIA really does is train spies who then steal secrets and combine and compile those secrets to share with decision makers on the Hill, right? CIA's system of teaching is a system where you educate first, you exercise second, and then you experience third. Remember that flywheel? So you educate, that's your information. You exercise, that's when you turn information into knowledge. And then you experience, and that's where you actually go out and test the knowledge to see if the knowledge is still applicable in the world that you live in today. So those are the 3 steps. So whenever you're trying to get anyone to break a barrier, whenever you're trying to get anyone to transform, all you have to do is educate them, help them to exercise, which means practice what they learn in a controlled space, and then kick them out the door to go do it for themselves. It's like kicking a bird out of the nest.
So can you make this very real for me? Because I want to be someone that can walk through the world and appreciate my perception of a situation, but also the other person's perspective. So if we put this in the context of me here as a podcast host, how would I be able to implement this to become a better podcast host? Like understand the other person's perspective and the way that you're seeing the world.
Absolutely. So we had a whole conversation before the cameras turned on.
Yeah.
Right? Can you tell me 5 things that you remember about me that I shared during the time before the cameras turned on?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay. You want me to say them?
Because we talk absolutely. It's private stuff, but tell me.
Okay. We're talking about your relationship, things you're going through at home. You said that in the last couple of days everything's changed because of the assassination attempt on Donald Trump. We talked about you used to live in an RV for a while, and you've just recently moved across America to a new place. You mentioned your kids as well.
Give me specifics.
Oh, God. You said that you used to live in the RV with your kids, and they're varying ages. I think one of them was, did you say 3 years old?
Close.
One of them was 3 years old or something.
5 and 1. 5 and 1.
Shit, yeah, 5 and 1.
Okay. You did great, right? Those things that you recalled. You recalled those from what's known as your paleo-mammalian brain, the back part of your brain, passive learning part of your brain. Because naturally, when you are untrained, when you're untrained to think like a spy, you rely on passive knowledge. You rely on passive observation to create prefrontal cortex knowledge. All a spy does is when they talk to you, they turn on. They turn on the prefrontal part right away, and they start paying attention to all the details right away. Because the way that you gain someone else's perspective...
The man is cooking. I'm sorry, the clip is called Perspective or Perception versus Perspective. And when he says they turn on, you know what he's saying? They're present. You know how many people diet present in relationships? Okay, maybe that's the wrong terminology. I'm going to use Jill Monroe's terminology. She said it at the end of her show today. What'd she say? You get comfortable. When you get comfortable. A lot of times when people get comfortable, they turn off presence. Or presence is not at full capacity. Let's be honest. First off, I'm going to go back to this. Your self-presence is low a lot of times. A lot of the times your self-presence is low. And you do that on purpose because you know there's aspects of yourself that you don't like, that does things that you will judge yourself over later. So you try to ignore that when you're like that. You understand? You've seen it. Man, I hate when I get like that. What? You mean you've been like that before? I mean, yeah, but somebody got to do something. You see what I'm saying? Somebody got to trigger me, and then... But so that would be you then. You are that person. Nah, I'm not really like that. The whole perception of self is off. Right? The blame is external, even though the flame comes from inside. Right? What is Zoe trying to do here? I'm trying to get us to show up in relationships differently. Right? A person can't do this for you. You have to do it for self. Just like the old anthropologists had to stop being racist in order to make anthropology a real part of academia, a real credible science, right? We've got to do that when we get into relationships. Intimate relational relativism. Your partner don't come from the same background you come from. Even if you guys are from the same city, even if you guys are from the same state, right? Same country. Listen, if you know anything about Los Angeles, man, Los Angeles is so diverse. The Valley is way different than Compton. Pasadena, way different than Inglewood. Like, yes, there are black folk and sprinkled and smattered everywhere, but every city is different. You understand? Got its own little traditions and cultures, and you feel what I'm saying? So you can't go in thinking, I'm from the Palisades. I'm way better than all of this. You can't come in like the old anthropologists did. You have to come in with this respect for where your partner comes from. And guess what? Your knowledge of where they come from will be gradual in the relational process because you're building a connection, right? Here's an example of IRR, intimate relational relativism. Instead of my family shows love by constant contact, and because you don't, you're cold, right? IRR sounds like, I notice you need more solo time. Can you share how closeness was expressed in your upbringing? Let's design a rhythm that honors both of our histories. Why it matters, psychological insight. This will reduce projection and confirmation bias, the twin engines of relational conflict. Your clinical insight on this. It will align, or this clinical insight, it aligns with attachment-based therapies that emphasize curiosity over judgment. And then your psychological insight extends cultural relativism from societies to the microculture of a dyad. A dyad is two people, and two people are a microculture. And one of the four branches of anthropology is cultural anthropology. Yes, we can look at the macro and then we look at the micro, which is the dyad, us two. And then the spiritual insight. It mirrors non-duality, right? And non-dual awareness by losing the ego's demand that the other conform to one's personal reality tunnel. In short, intimate relational relativism treats a relationship as a living ethnography, right? It invites partners to become anthropologists of one another's inner world, observing, contextualizing, and co-creating rather than missionaries out to convert. How many of you got been dating a relationship missionary? They come to your heart. Hey, have you heard about the good news? Wait a minute. Hold on. You a relational missionary. You're trying to convert me to your way. Ladies, I know you've experienced it. Well, if I'm going to pay for all the bills and I'm going to do all, you have to convert. That's a relational missionary. Oh, man, we got callers on the line. Let's get them in here. Attila from Houston, Texas. What are your thoughts on tonight's topic? What? Ah, yes, I love it. This is good. This is good. So talk to me. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I don't have a whole lot to say on this other than, something that I've experienced in terms of, like, perspective, and you've actually observed me do this, and you called me out on it once, I remember, was, like, over-explaining my perspective to someone. Mm-hmm. And I know you always talk about, like, the unwilling ear, But I think a big part of like understanding one another's perspective, or at least seeking to understand instead of trying to make sure that you're understood, is really just resolving that wound of needing to be seen, and more importantly, needing to be felt.
Mm-hmm.
And so in the process of trying to do that, you're actually devaluing your perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think a lot of it is just like it's just a byproduct of that inner child wound.
I see where you're going with this. You're cooking. But I know you've dated a relational missionary, somebody trying to convert you to their way. I know it.
A couple. It ain't work. You know me, I'm tourist. I ain't playing that. I'm like, dude, what? Who about what? No, I think so. I would say that the relational missionary, to me, is characteristic of the anxious, preoccupied partner, typically, because you're basically selling your worth, selling your religion, selling your... I would say you're really selling your persona as your religion. Like you're a missionary to your persona.
Keep going. Keep going. We're looking for converts.
Right.
Keep going. I'm listening.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, basically, you know, I think even a secure person would take that and kind of say, I'm not sure if I want to I'm not sure if I want to go down that road, for the simple fact that if your persona is your God, is your religion, whatever the case, then you probably expect me to worship it too, right?
It's not happening.
I'm not doing it.
But
I'm not doing it. And
but in a normal sense, right? Like in a normal, basic relational exchange, has it been difficult to understand the perspectives of others? I mean, I'm saying just your experience. Is it difficult to understand where they're coming from, or is it relatively easy for you?
No, it's easy for me to understand. I just might not agree.
Do you think?
Like I get into the over-explaining, but yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, but do you think men want agreement more than anything else? Like if I'm telling you something, I'm not telling you that just to be telling you. I'm telling you for you to accept it and roll with it the way I see it.
I think that is true for a lot of men. I mean, I noticed that the more, how do I say this, like, the men who tend to not really have, like, a fully formed, like...
sense of self?
Like, they're not fully formed sense of self. They're not really, like, identified in terms of understanding the size of themselves, so to speak. They're probably going to push down harder for you to comply because they want you to basically legitimize what it is that they see to be the truth, because they don't really believe it themselves. They need you to affirm it, right? Because I hate to say it, like, what is my affirmation going to do for you?
What?
Nothing.
Attila, stay on the line. I got questions for you. Nah, hell nah. Hell nah. I got questions. You don't get to come in here and act like this. When we come forward, we going back to Houston, Texas. I don't appreciate it. I got questions. Hell nah. And Attila is the only caller we have on the line. We have no support on the Super Chat. We have no support on the Cash App. I don't know. I don't know. No soul. What?
Was me, not merely as spectators of ideas, but as companions in the mystery of the psyche. When I speak of the inner child, I do not refer to a sentimental image painted by the modern age to soothe itself with nostalgia, but to a living reality that still breathes within you, often buried under the rubble of years of adaptation. Fear unmasks the child within is not gone. It is forgotten, repressed, exiled into the shadows of your soul, and yet it remains alive, crying in silence. Every empath, every one of you who feels too much, who absorbs the pain of others as though it were your own, is still carrying this forgotten child. It is not merely a metaphor, it is an archetype, a figure that belongs both to your personal unconscious and to the collective depths of humanity itself. When we speak of empathy, we often imagine a gift of compassion, of sensitivity, of a heightened capacity to resonate with the sorrows and joys of another, but rarely do we pause to ask why such sensitivity arises, and why it burns so deeply into the empath's heart that it becomes both blessing and curse. I tell you now, empathy often begins not with divine generosity, but with a wound. The empath is born in the crucible of unmet love, of unspoken needs, of the child who once stood trembling in the presence of forces too great to endure. In order to survive, that child learned to attune to the needs of others, to anticipate the unspoken dangers in the room, to absorb the storm before it broke. Thus the empath was not merely gifted, but forged, hammered by the fires of necessity. This child within you is not simply a memory, it is an autonomous figure, what I called a complex. It carries...
Man, come on, Carl Jung. You didn't have to expose everything. Like that clip was called The Forgotten Inner Child. Carl Jung. The perception, I want to be understood. I want you to understand the mindset of that inner child. Sure, I'm going to show up and perform and you know, do whatever it is that I can do to keep you interested in the pursuit of discovering that inner child in me. I know it's here. Did you hear what he said? The child was gifted through pain. It was born, his empathetic ability, born from a wound. Can you imagine being with someone who has no interest in trying to understand that perspective, where you're coming? They wouldn't even know how to handle you. Intimate, relational relativism. Where does this man or this woman I love come from? Where do they come from? Or better stated, how did they get here, and what did they have to come through in order to get here? And this is a bidirectional questioning. This is why we don't understand each other. This is why we bottom line things down to what have you done for me lately? Where's Janet Jackson? Where is Janet? What have you done for me lately? It's bottom line to doing. Do you see? This is why I love Jashana Johnson, because she broke the internet when she said that to me on this show. When she said, hey, those love languages, that's born out of something. It might be born out of insecure attachment. You see? Right? We got to come into these relationships from an objective standpoint. But we don't. We come in from a subjective standpoint. What are you going to do to quiet down these wounds? And anything that doesn't relate to that appears to be incompatible. we not gonna make it. Listen, when I come forward, I'm going back to my niece. We're gonna see if she can hit these questions out of the park. This is our home run derby. Let's see if the cleanup hitter can knock these questions out of the park. Man. We're going to see. Attila, you ready for these questions? Hey, man, did y'all see? Did anybody watch News Game? Hey, Suge Mac 510. What, bro? Anybody see News Game over the weekend? I think I put the link up somewhere. Did anybody see it? Dude was balling. He played this weekend. He had 22, 4 rebounds. Should have had 7 assists, but only had 3 assists. I swear to God, these niggas dropped so many dimes. Yeah, he was hooping though. He plays again this weekend. Well, he plays again on Friday. I'm going to be at school in a parking lot selling ices, watching it. Medium jerseys in stock. He brought me 1 jersey. So he gave me the jersey for my birthday. He was supposed to frame it and do all of that. He didn't get around to do it. He just gave me the jersey. The jersey balled up in the back seat of my car right now. Doing a lot. No. He gave that jersey to Huff and Puff. My jersey that one was black and gold. He had 3. He had a white and gold, a black and gold, and a black and white. I got the black and white. My jersey looks like the Brooklyn Nets jersey. I wanted the white and gold. I think his mom, his sister, his girl took that one. The black and gold is at Huff and Puff. And Raja, what is that? John. Hey, John, guess what? I ordered a crap ton of those cookies. John done fucked around, sent me the link to these Hawaiian shortbread macadamian, what the fuck, Hawaiian, boy, he done sent me the damn link. And them motherfucking cookies got the nerve to be like $4-5 a bag. I said, what the fuck? I'm finna go off on these cookies.
Is that if you're really only able to look at yourself in this moment, you have to actually take in the idea that you're enough first, because otherwise you're going to always be moving from a place of lack and fixing.
Tell me what you mean when you say that to really accept that you are enough.
Right.
As in,
Okay, so for instance, there's many people that feel guilty about something, right? If you actually go to your heart, you can understand at a true level why you could have done something like that. Everyone can. But what causes our pain is trying to get society to understand why we did something. But the collective society isn't at a consciousness where they've forgiven themselves for anything. So there's a lot of judgment you'll look at in yourself if you look at yourself through society's eyes.
Come on, Kyle Cease. Listen, I'm listening to these clips as you hear them. I'm hearing them for the first time. I just feel vindicated. I feel good. They saying the same thing I've been saying. And I love it. Kyle Cease is always cooking with the rarest grease, man. We need Kyle in the studio. Andy? I'm going to leave that up to Andy. I think Andy can make some power moves, some phone calls. We need Kyle Cease to come to the VOR and drop some jewels. As a matter of fact, tomorrow we are bringing Sister Precious back in here. Precious McGill is coming back, and she's going to be cooking. I got a topic lined up for her as well. It's going to be good. Now, I got my niece on the phone. And she's got this is her home run derby. Let's see how she fields these questions. Are you ready?
Okay. Yes. Bring it on. Let's go.
Okay, if language maps experience but never is experience, what distortions of love do your words smuggle in each time you say I love you? What distortions of love get smuggled in each time you say I love you?
Distortions of love? I would say expected love. Because with every I love you is a hidden expectation.
Ooh, okay, you got good contact on that. If language maps experience, but never is experience, the language isn't experience. What distortions of love do your words smuggle in each time you say I love you? And you said expectations. Wow.
Because experience builds expectation. Right? Like, I think, let me say this. The attachment to experience is what builds expectation. Kind of like what we talked about previously this week.
Expectations, outcomes, Are we?
The whole thing. The whole kid and caboodle, yeah.
Oh my God, are we relationship CEOs? Are we legally bound to protect our emotional bottom line?
I look at us as like relationship startup owners. Like, we have little startup companies that are not fully formed. We don't have an HR department.
Relationship startups is crazy.
Because let me tell you, I have worked for startups, and one thing that I can say about people who are entrepreneurs but sometimes the vision is so grand that the practicality can't really meet it. And I think sometimes our relationships function that way.
Wow.
The practicality can't catch up.
Don't worry, I got more.
Mm-hmm.
This is right here. You ready? Right here, right here. This question right here?
Yes.
When you claim to know your partner, do you describe them or only your neural model of them?
This might be a hot take. I think that when people talk about knowing their partner, they're really talking about knowing their patterns and their actions. Like, they know what they do, but they don't really know who they are. You know what I mean? Like, so it would be the neural pathways that have basically picked up patterns from watching someone else's actions. How I would describe that.
So I don't know you, but I know your movement. I know how you move.
Yeah. I know your predictability, and your predictability is safe. I don't want to really focus on the areas that really are you, because that part is unconscious, a little dangerous, and more importantly, it's a mirror to me.
Nah, I'm not satisfied. How might how might your childhood attachment injuries function as an unacknowledged editor of the facts you call the truth? Oh.
So, you and I talked about earlier today, like, if I'm fielding all of my experiences or my reactions, my understandings through my wounds, then there you go. So if I have a wound, for example, that says I'm not enough, which I do and I'm still working on, then every experience that may appear to be a rejection is going to be filtered through my feeling of not being enough. When in reality, people have a right to reject you, and it's more likely that they will if you're functioning out of that space of I'm not enough, because you're trying to grab that enoughness from them.
Nah. Nah. Can an incomplete truth nourish intimacy, or does every omission metabolize into future betrayal?
It can if you're not attached to an outcome.
Now, who ain't attached?
No, though, I don't. But like for real, and I know that's hard to like conceptualize, but I'm saying, like, if we're talking about a specific situation, right? Let's say, I don't know, let's say there's some issues with money or something like that, and you have a plan or a budget or something like that you want to put place together, like, as a couple, right? Like, you might not know every single penny and where your spouse in it, but, you know, you're more so focused on, like, you know, kind of repairing things, right? So that kind of takes center stage. But I think anytime you make an outcome, like, more important than, like, the actual lesson itself, then you're more likely to have, like, repeated kind of flare-ups of tension, because you're more focused on that outcome. That's what you're upset about. You're mad that that hasn't come to fruition yet.
I love this. I love this perspective. Do you think relationship can survive with expanded perspectivity? Or do you think keep it to yourself and keep doing what I like is a better, you know, like a better operating system for relationships? What do you think?
I think doing what someone likes is like actively putting bugs in your system. Like, if you had a computer system and you put bugs in it, like, that's what that would look like, because people are fickle. What we like changes all the time. And half of the time, we're not really honest about what we like for fear of judgment, fear of retribution, fear of abandonment, fear of a lot of things, right? So I think to base relationships or outcomes or things like that on what you like is honestly kind of childish, Like,
But that's what.
Would be a childish take, right?
But Andy and Attila, am I right or wrong? Ain't that why people get into relationship, to get more of what they like?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like marriage. I like kids. I like money. I like love. I like, right?
Yeah. I mean, again, like I said, it's kind of like you said, when you're talking about describing your partner or whatever, I know you. It's like, what do you know exactly? You know what I do. You know how that makes you feel. Ergo, you feel safe, and therefore that is what you define as what you like.
Wait.
But you have yet to, like, experience them.
Are you saying definitively here tonight on The Voice of Reason, live on KBLA Talk 1580, are you saying it is virtually impossible to know your partner?
I wouldn't say that it's impossible.
And if you don't know them, what do you know?
I would say the extent to which you know yourself is how well you know your partner. Like, when you think about people who have been together for a really long time and they've actually, like, made it work.
They sync up.
They almost finish each other's, like, they almost finish each other's sentences. Their movements and things like that are the same.
Yes.
And I think part of that is because it's like a repetition that I think kind of helps, like, glue you together, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense.
But are synced behaviors the same as synced psyches? Ooh.
To some extent, yes. That doesn't mean that they have to be in sync all the way around. I think you can be in sync in certain areas. I believe that when we're not in, or when we find an area where we're not in sync, there starts the descent of, like, oh, they're not in sync anymore. I don't feel the same. Like, we let that one thing be, like, the whole relationship.
Nah, hold tight. I ain't satisfied. Hold tight, Attila. When we come forward, we going back. She's fielding these questions, but I don't know if I'm feeling her fielding of the questions. Nah, she's actually cooking. She actually slapping these motherfuckers. So Koba was a neurotype. Hey, man. Stop. No, you are. No, you actually are cooking. Nah, you're literally cooking. I got one for you right now. I ain't gonna ask it on the air. I'm gonna ask it right now. Which of your deepest truths would evaporate if you were forced to express them without adjectives or metaphors? No adjectives, no metaphors. On the hard liquor reaction side of the game.
Today I want to talk about the meaning of words, how we define them, and how they, almost as revenge, define us. The English language is a magnificent sponge. I love the English language. I'm glad that I speak it. But for all that, it has a lot of holes. In Greek, there's a word, locucism, which is the hunger for disaster. You know, when you see a thunderstorm on the horizon, and you just find yourself rooting for the storm. In Mandarin, they have a word yu yi, I'm not pronouncing it correctly, which means the longing to feel intensely again, the way you did when you were a kid. In Polish, they have a word, juska, which is the kind of hypothetical conversation that you compulsively play out in your head. And finally, in German, of course, in German, they have a word called Seelenschmerz, which is the dread of getting what you want. Finally fulfilling a lifelong dream. I'm German myself, so I know exactly what that feels like.
Man, I wanted to hear the rest of that. I wish we would have played him a little earlier. John Koenig, that's who that is. But my niece is on the line, and she is fielding these relational questions. She's a millennial. Boy, they in trouble. Andy done gave her the organ. She's answering these questions, though. She's knocking them out. She's got to be able to answer these questions. With the dudes I'm going to have to holler at, who trying to holler at her, I'm going to have to... Okay, here we go. Attila, are you ready?
I am.
Real quick, rapid fire.
Mm-hmm.
How does unresolved trauma camouflage itself as chemistry, seducing you towards familiar relational pain loops?
Because it's so familiar. And I believe the reason why it's familiar is because it's something that you've already experienced in childhood, obviously. But I think on a real tip, it is the temptation to give you the thing that you feel you lack, and then it is taken away, so you get the intermittent reinforcement. And I think that's where the chemistry comes in.
Okay, so you want to go out strong, huh?
Where am I going? I'm going out. I thought I was staying in here with y'all.
No, but these are the type of things that Prince meant when he sang the song, If I Were Your Girlfriend. These are the things that men want to know so that they can understand you better, right? Which sensation in your body predicts your next argument before a single word is spoken?
Yeah, always that sharp, dull pain in my forehead.
Yeah!
Here we go. Here we go. He's gonna be on some mess.
Imagine if your guy could share that pain, right? And he's like, "Oh, we about to argue. Never mind. I'm leaving. I'll be back. I'm gonna go to the golf course, right?"
I don't think he would mind it too much. He likes fighting. He's a fighting type.
Is your pursuit of safety a strategy for healing or a prison that prevents you from transformation? Is your pursuit of safety a strategy for healing or a prison that prevents transformation?
Well, if I'm pursuing safety within myself, then I think that's a lovely strategy to protect yourself. Because as long as I'm safe within, I'm safe without. But if I'm looking for it externally, not so much.
I hear you. I didn't like it. You kind of got off on it. It's good.
It's both.
No, I know. I caught it. I got it. I just didn't like it. I get to not like stuff. It's cool. Listen, Attila, guess what you just did, Attila? Houston, Texas is in the building. Your brother Zoe Williams. I gotta land this plane. The whole show was about perspectivity, right? Right, broadening our perspective. not staying in our little box. We went on an anthropological kind of odyssey to kind of explain, what this whole topic was about. I think we misunderstand each other too much because we're so invested in being right. Right? Every conversation, man, we got to be right. Nah, it's about alignment over rightness. Love pretends to be a meeting of two people, but it is first a collision of two worlds. Every conversation, every memory, every fact you defend arrives pre-filtered through a private laboratory of genetics, culture, trauma, and language. Robert Anton Wilson called this a reality tunnel, a self-reinforcing perceptual loop so pervasive that we mistake it for the universe itself. It's not, it's just our perception. Perspectivity names the unsettling truth that no lover, no society, not even your own mind grants you an unfiltered view of reality. What you call truth is a moving hologram assembled by a nervous system desperate for coherence. Science quietly agrees. Neuroscience shows that perception operates as a prediction engine. The brain guesses what exists, then edits sensory input to match the guess. Memory reconsolidation research reveals that every recollection is a fresh construction, not a retrieval. Two honest partners can therefore recall the same night and tell incompatible but neurologically accurate stories. When both memories feel certain, the ego interprets difference as betrayal. Yet difference simply reveals the architecture of the consciousness. I just want you guys to understand there's so much more to relating than what we're currently tapping into. And I think the voice of reason is absolutely serving the purpose of broadening your perspective. You don't have to agree. Just understand, I only ask one thing. Finish the conversation. I'll be back tomorrow with another slapper. Deuces!